Now then, welcome to Red Army TV. First of all, Happy New Year 2020. I'm going to introduce you to the guys in a minute. From everybody here at Red Army TV and next door at Red Army Radio, hope you've had a cracking festive season. We've certainly had some points in the bag. I won't say I told you so. Got two great guests with me here in Yaff's Gaff in the snug. I've got the legend that is Mr. Dave Roberts and our potential fox in the box. Foxy, gentlemen, good evening.
Potential fox.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year to everyone. But
Hello.
potential fox.
Potential, he's not there yet.
No, you just need it. Boys, I don't want to say that we called it on this show.
Yeah,
Because we don't bask in it, Dave, here at Red Army TV.
We do.
However,
We should.
4 wins, 1 draw from, I think it's the 20th of December, right over the festive period. We're normally talking on shows like this about the Boro coming down with the Christmas decorations. Is it a change? Has it always been coming, Dave? Or what have we done differently?
Prior to that first win of the 4, I didn't see it coming. I just started to sneak over the line towards the, are we going to see any improvements from Woody? And then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Great Christmas present. Love it. Thank you very much. Best one they've given me.
Yeah.
We're off.
We are.
We are off.
Foxy.
8 unbeaten at home.
Closer to the playoffs than relegation now.
And you know what? Whether people believed it would happen or whether they didn't believe it would happen, this league is just renowned for it turning on a nutshell like that, isn't it?
It is.
Because even, and I'm not going to start going into one before you've said anything, but Preston's the perfect example because they were flying for the first 3 months. Best home record in the league. And we've pretty much bounced.
Baggy's top of the table.
Yeah, completely. And we really did. I mean, that's our best performance of the season.
Yeah. We were better at West Brom than Preston.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just find it strange when people write a season off within the first 3 months. But
I almost got there. I almost got to that point
did,
where I was thinking, I'm not seeing improvement.
Yeah. Well, look, many of our viewers and many of our fans of Red Army TV and Boro fans, look, they were right because I'm not going to go right back into it, but we sort of give Woody the job and we didn't announce it straight away. There was a cloak and dagger. It was the worst kept secret in football and things like that.
You even bumped into him in Sainsbury's local.
I did. I bumped into him in Tesco's local, actually. But anyway, other shops are available.
Okay.
But they don't close down places that they haven't already opened.
And I had a chat with him, and he was going on holiday, and I just said to him, "Look, have you got the job or what?" And he just said to me, "I don't know."
Which is a yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, look. So we didn't have the best of starts. We did have people, and I don't like to say jump on the bandwagon, but there was that contingent that was saying, he's tactically inept, he's not up for the job, you know. Look, I'll say to you fellas, if the Boro offered me the job tomorrow,
Of course.
I'm going to take it.
Look at Steve McLaren with England. Always out of his depth, but he wasn't going to turn that down, was he?
No way.
Of course you're not.
And that, you know something, that you've just touched on something there, one word, tactics, tactical. That's what he's impressed me with the most. He's making changes in games that
brave.
actually influence the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Now, they don't always work. We got absolutely tanked at Leeds, and I was there, and it was massively disappointing. It was always galling to lose at Leeds.
Yeah.
But we expected that. But changes he makes in the game, West Brom, Preston, you know, suddenly he'll be putting an extra striker up front, which just relieves the pressure off the defence because they've now got 2 blokes at their back end to worry about.
Stoke at home.
Pulis would never do that.
No, not at all.
Monk wouldn't do that. Karanka wouldn't do that.
Well, it's what we were crying out for,
Wasn't it? And the best thing about that, Dave, for me is the amount of people who all of a sudden halfway through maybe October are going, bring Pulis back, we would have got a point now. Yes, we would. But we were never going to go to West Brom and win under Pulis. We were never going to go to Preston and win under Pulis. And as you've quite rightly said, he would have brought on maybe, I can't think of the team off the top of my head, but Clayton would have come on and he would have, you know, and the other thing, as you've mentioned there,
would have been Fletcher off and Clayton on.
Completely, and we'd have just played with 5 and 5. And the other thing that you've just mentioned there briefly for me also is the fact that he's been brave with selections and he's starting Gested. I mean, Gested coming back into the squad, he was completely written off. Saville playing centre mid, and also the other thing is having the cojones to play McNair and Howson centre backs when he's had to. You know, and it's worked.
First and foremost, I want to congratulate you there for curling that language and saying that, which was really good.
When we're on air, there's no dead air, is there?
But what I will say to you fellas is, and there's loads coming on the social media, and please get your messages in to me on social media. Obviously, we're on Facebook Live and we're on Teesside TV. So get your messages in to me, and I will try and answer as many as we can. But there's a few on there saying, yeah, we didn't have the best start. And do you know what? They're right. And we sat on this show and rightly or wrongly, people said I was wrong, and people said that our other guests were wrong. We didn't have the rub of the green in most of them games, and I think when we look back in history on this season, the opening part of this season, we didn't get one iota. And Woodgate came out and said, if we hadn't have had him sent off then, if we hadn't have had... And then as it got worse and worse, Dave, people were saying, it's just all excuses with him, isn't it? But the good thing about tactics, we spoke just before we came off air. I think there's only one, and again, whether you disagree with me, there's only probably one time I could ever question Woody's tactics. And it's when we got the man sent off, and old Clayton was warming up for 20 minutes before half-time.
Yeah.
We brought him on. We might as well have given him our team sheet and said, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Start broadcasting what we're going to do.
Yeah. So that's the only time I'm with you. I think the tactics from then on have probably been spot on. Was that the kick up the bum he needed, Dave?
Probably was. It probably was. I think he probably got to a point, and, hey, Mr. Woodgate, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's probably got to a point where he's thinking, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'm trying to play it safe. I'm trying to do what might scrape us a few points, and it's not happening. And all of a sudden, I think he's just gone, right, throw me out into the ring. I'm going to do what I want to do.
I'm going to do or die.
It's either, exactly. Yeah. Do or die. It'll work, or I'll fail miserably. And it's worked for him.
And that's a good point, because I think he's a local lad and people override that, and he's a very honest lad. And I think that when we go back, as you've said in the season, he's talking about the table lying and people jumped on that. I think what he was saying, there was total sense in, because we've all saw things in games. I know I have, I'm not just trying to say that, but things in games for me to think, well, if these footballers are that bad, they wouldn't be doing that for 10 minutes or that for 50. But as you quite rightly said, nuances have gone against us. Sendings off, the amount of chances we've missed. I think we were 5th or 6th in the league for amount of chances created, but Brick couldn't hit a barn door. And so you can't just say all of a sudden, well, that's a terrible team. They're not. There's little things in there. And even, as you said at the start of the season, Luton away, we were lethal. We were carefree, we were scoring goals, we were passing, we were happy. And then we've got to play Brentford straight away, and he's done exactly what you said and thought, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to come out of here, I want a result. And then it's backfired, and then it's carried on. But even if you just look at the West Brom game on itself, the things that happened in there, even like the free kicks that were going for us and not for them, elbows that didn't happen, little things where you thought, it's turned.
The look starting to balance out a bit.
So what he said
towards our side.
Yeah, and I don't think he's the type of guy, and I know him. He's a right good lad. Maybe spoke to him a lot in the last 10 years, but as a guy, he's a very honest person about his football. So, as you said there, he got to the point where he thought, and it's happy to work. Maybe it was that change of mindset as well, where he's just let go.
Well, look, guys, we've got loads of guys on the and girls. We're not, loads of guys and girls on the social media. Anyone's welcome. So let's have a look. Michael Hesler saying, how is everyone? Happy New Year. Michael, Happy New Year to you, mate. Ibram Tanner, now then, how's it going? Ibram, brilliant. How's it going? Michael Leach is watching. Happy New Year to you, mate. Ian Neesham saying, told you it was going to be a good Christmas period.
Yeah.
You know what, Ian? You certainly did, mate. And me hat's off to you.
Hat off.
There we go, hat off. Stu Bradley, you're watching. Happy New Year to you, mate. Ibram Tanner, let's be honest, we were worse than shocking early on. It didn't look like we were going to get any better. The shift wasn't gradual. It was like a switching a light switch. Do you know what, Ibram? You've got a point. The only thing I would disagree with there, Dave, probably is, and you've just touched on it, Foxy, is in games I was watching, I was seeing flashes, and we mentioned it on this show, we mentioned it on the radio.
We have a lot.
We were looking at it and saying, we can see what Woody wants to do.
I think I'm sitting in between you and Abraham, because, yes, we did see flashes, but we didn't see any signs of them becoming anything more than flashes. It's not as if you suddenly started seeing an increase in frequency on them and thinking, hey, we're starting to get a bit better, we're starting to do... I think he's right and you're right. There were flashes, but then all of a sudden...
Can I ask you both a question then? Do you think that when he's kind of gone, gets to take Steele and Boro out of the equation and stop trying to put that's not working, it's bringing Spencer, it's bringing Coulson, we've got pace, we've got two guys that are fearless. Do you think that's kind of it, then gelled the team and spread?
They've been great. Those two youngsters have made a huge difference, because all of a sudden we've got two pacey lads who like to get forward and have got the pace to get back as well. And it gives us a bit more balance than the other alternatives we had as left and right back. And I think they've gelled.
What I would say to that, Foxy, is I don't think, and I hate to say this, but a more experienced manager, I think he would have stuck with his signings and thought, Dick Steele is definitely playing, Ball is definitely... He didn't. Because he's new, rookie, he loves the club, it's on his heart.
But are there his signings?
Well, that's for another show, Dave. But he stuck to it and thought, no, I want what's best for the team, for the result. But anyway, fellas.
See, we talk about Pulis, he'd have kept Saville left back.
Of course you would have, of course you would have. Look, loads to talk about. Keep your messages coming in on the old social media. Loads to read out after the break. We're going to have a break very shortly. And then, fellas, there's transfer rumours to talk about. There's a massive game coming up at the weekend with a certain Wayne Rooney coming, which I'm sure we're going to chat about. Get your messages in. Join us after this short break on Red Army TV. Hi there, welcome back to Red Army TV. Got loads to chat about. Got Dave and Foxy in the snug, chatting all things Boro. And hey guys, a lot to talk about in this such a small show that we have here.
And we've both got cold, so we sound really deep and sexy.
We sound gruff.
I've just got over one, otherwise this would have been Bug City in here tonight. But anyway, look fellas, I can't believe I'm saying this this early on. But we've got to talk about transfers, Dave, because not only are we getting our deals done quick, but there's a little bit of room, a little bit of conjecture out there. Let me hit it off. Let's talk about Coulson signing his new deal, first of all. Good for Coulson, good for the club?
Yes and yes. I think him and Spence have been revelations. We've given them a chance and they've taken them with both feet. Which is surprising for youngsters because normally you dip them in, bring them back out, dip them in. These two lads now look like regulars. They look like regular first-team players.
And they've come into a struggling team, Dave.
Absolutely. And they've been a difference because they've given it a bit of a spark. So they've had a positive impact on the rest of them around them. Great that we've got him to put pen to paper.
Foxy, would you like to see Jed Spence putting pen to paper sooner rather than later?
Yeah, because I think it's nice to see young guys come in when everybody talks about bringing in young players, making a difference and then getting rewarded for it, because I think it does two things. It also adds to their confidence. But all those young lads who are wanting to come through, or Woody's worked with under 21s, under 18s, are looking and thinking, well, if I get a chance here, I'm going to get backed and I'm going to get a contract. It's only that way we're going now.
Yeah.
That's all I say.
There's also talk, obviously, some of the old guard. I say the old guard. I mean, Ayala. There was talk of him a couple of months ago, saying he's going to get offered a pay cut, Dave, and
they need to bust the bank to sign him up.
I think there'll be teams out there sniffing.
Definitely.
I know he's got an injury at the moment, but he has been undoubtedly our player of the season.
Without a doubt.
McNair's had a great start of the season in comparison to what he'd done last year and the year was there a year before? Yeah. But he's much improved. But Ayala, he's head and shoulders above.
And Howson, fellas. I mean, Howson's another one potentially could leave. But Woody, on I think every press conference I've watched and read over the last, he absolutely doesn't say a bad word, Dave.
Well, you as a manager, I mean, you are a manager, mate. If you had a player that you could stick at the back, even though he's a midfielder, and he doesn't grumble, he doesn't groan, he gets on with it, he sees what he has to do and why he has to do it, and puts in the performances that Johnny Howson's been putting in, you'd be delighted as well.
He's very much an old-fashioned player as well, in that attitude, hasn't he, Foxy?
He is, and also what he's done is, I mean, like you talked about Ayala there, I don't know how many times Ayala's played in the back three throughout his career, but I would go as far as to say this is probably the best football he's ever played. And to add Howson into that equation, and then you've got Fry, who people were a little bit suspect about. Is he too slow? Is he like that? I mean, the whole three there, I could say that Spence and Coulson have added to that, but that three there have gelled, and they all look immense, and they all need, anyone who's about to be going out of contract, need to be sat. They need sign up, because that's what we're building off now.
Yeah, well, it'll soon be silly season.
Pairs.
Yeah, it'll soon be silly season. And obviously, we've brought, before we talk about the players potentially leaving the club, we'll talk about the two that miraculously, I think one was New Year's Day, wasn't it, or the day after, that we sort of, got these snapped up. One was obviously has played against Tottenham in young, I say young, Patrick Roberts. Yeah. He's been around the block a bit, but he still is young, Dave, isn't he?
Relatively, but he's not a youngster.
22, is he?
Yeah, he's
22, but he's played for some top teams.
He's won leagues in Scotland with Celtic under Brendan Rodgers.
Celtic,
He couldn't get in the Norwich team. I mean, I'm surprised at that because they're struggling, but more power to him if he's going to come to us and do a job, because he'll play in a couple of positions. And
he looks handy as well.
Yeah, he's fast. He's good on the ball. So
reminds me of Juninho, very small, low centre of gravity, can twist and turn.
Can do stuff.
Had a far better second half against Tottenham.
Yes, but then I think the whole team did.
Yeah, I thought he felt his way into the game, didn't he, in the first
I think he's
game?
trying too hard the first half.
Yeah. And maybe
Just that little extra touch he put on the ball so it ran away from him, or, you know, I
Yeah.
just think he was trying to put too much into it.
And he hasn't played that much football either, guys. So, you know, you're bringing him into the team again and he's going to do something against the Premiership team straight away. And good bedding in for him.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think he's a top signing, him. I mean, there won't have just been us in for his signature.
Can't have been.
You know, because he's been around the block, he knows the Premier League, he knows the Championship. I may have made a sarcastical comment to a Celtic fan who said he's come to a club with no ambition and then told him that Celtic play in a 10-bob league, don't they?
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We can win games.
You'll be getting letters.
Yeah, I'll be getting letters, but when you're playing the dog and duck every week...
Of course, I mean, no way.
But another guy is, and I've got to get this right, is it Metcher?
Yeah.
I think that's how it's pronounced, isn't it, Metcher?
Lucas Metcher.
Raving at him at Man City. I done a little bit of research on him. Man City rave about him. You know, they're calling him one for the future. I don't know much about him. There's not much about on the internet, goal-wise. Only what Manchester City are saying. I'm sure they will always say good things about their players. But again, another one that fits the bill, Foxy, isn't it? Young lad trying to impress.
Yeah, and I think realistically, you know, they obviously know the people who've brought him in more about him than we do. You know, Woody, I'm sure Woody's clued up on him completely. People have levelled Bowler and Dick Steele, him not really knowing about them. And was it Rio Ferdinand who's mentioned bring these two in and the rest of it? But I think where we're at now, I don't think Woody's going to risk bringing anyone who's going to upset the apple cart. And so they have to be half decent to come in because we've got lots of good youngsters coming through our ranks. Yeah. So I think you're right what you're saying. He wants to come in, he's hungry. That's going to add to the rest of the team because other people, you know, other players in that team are now going to be thinking, right, I better pull a performance in here, otherwise he's on me.
Sadly, we didn't see a lot of him against Spurs. Didn't see enough of him to make any sort of impression, but I'm sure we will over the next handful of games.
Yeah, he might start him in the replay against Tottenham on Wednesday coming up. You know, it's one of them games for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever happens in that result, we're not going to get hammered. Gives the lads a chance to go and play at a top-class stadium, maybe give you a little bit of hunger to think, I could be doing this every week.
Far more experience as well, and I thought, you know, Woodgate played the press conference for the Tottenham game excellently.
Yeah.
Had nothing but compliments for Jose Mourinho, at one point saying, if not the best manager in the world, one of the best managers in the world. Told him that he was going to play some kids against him, quite openly, Woodgate, and said it's a chance for these kids to express themselves against a fantastic side. And I think, you know, Jose brought a team which, let's be honest, without
that was the first team.
It's a good team.
That was the first team.
Pop Harry Kane in that, and that's a Premier League game.
I'm sitting there with my son, and my son's just rattled them all off. He's going, bang, first teamer, bang,
international,
first teamer, bang. All the way down, there was not one that you couldn't say. One of the first team play.
And I don't buy into the Kane stuff when you go to play a team in a lower league than you should have enough in that locker because they're all internationals to be able to play. I don't buy into all
the night before on the BBC they were saying Tottenham played better without Harry Kane, and the stats prove it. It's like you can't win
nonsense.
Either way. Absolutely
Nonsense.
We didn't play that.
Just have a quick look at the social media fellas. Ian Neesham said to put Howson in the nets. And it'll be quality. Do you know what? I think you're right. I think he's got the heart to play anywhere.
Put him in the shoot, it'd be quality.
Peter Grasson put. We have to get all the good young players on long-term contracts, minimum 3 years. I think he's got a point there. And the other one was Scott Watson, who was just saying that, saying hi to us, hi mate, and also Scott. Saying potentially turned the corner. Do you know what?
I think we have, mate.
I think we possibly have.
And I think especially...
I'm not going to get carried away with, we're only 7 points away from the playoffs, 8 points away from the playoffs, whatever it is. Forget the playoffs. Yeah. This season's got nothing to do with the playoffs.
I'm sure Woody is exactly the same.
And we've all said that from day one, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Fellas, we've quickly got to talk about the players who are potentially going out, and then we're going to have a quick look ahead to Derby. Start off with... first of all, I want to start off with Marcus Brown. Potentially could be going out on loan.
Charlton.
To Charlton.
And it's a bold move, that, from Woody, because he could have stuck with him and gone...
Yeah. Do we think that's a discipline problem, first of all? And do we think he just needs more time in the Championship? Is that what we think?
The latter for me.
You think so? I think he just needs more game time. I think Woody's looked at him and thought, couple of daft tackles... Discipline's not there. I'm not going to be playing him regularly. Let's get him some regular football.
The two big ones, fellas. Assombalonga, potentially Villa sniffing around, if you believe the press.
Yeah. Well, Woody said no, but then again, you wouldn't say yes, would he?
Yeah, he also said no about Randolph, which I'm going to come on to. Which, if you believe the press, which I've read just before we came on air, Randolph apparently has failed his first medical down at West Ham.
Thigh injury. They're a bit concerned about the current injury, which is a thigh injury.
However, they are saying that the second medical may go through.
Yeah.
The details of that...
Bizarre, that, isn't it?
Bizarre. The details of that is a £4 million, which I thought was peanuts, but then what you do is you look in and say, we still owe them £2.5 million quid.
Yeah.
So theoretically, it's a £6.5 million deal, because they're going to write the £2.5 million off and give us £4 million. Does that mean we'll have money to spend, Dave, quickly, or do you think that'll go in the coffers?
Not so sure. I think a chunk of it will go in the coffers. They might give Woody £1.5 million or something to go and spend £2 million, but I don't think he'll get it all. I'm not disappointed. I spoke to Stephen Pears at Preston, and Pears, he was talking about Ainsley and saying how well he's playing and all that sort of stuff. A lot of confidence in there. Yeah. None of them expected him to do as well as he did, just being dropped back into.
And fellas, finally,
and he's filled big shoes there.
Yeah,
he has. Finally, fellas, because we are running out of time. Derby roll into town at the weekend. The big fella Wayne Rooney back. At least we'll see him.
Wayne Rooney's Derby County, you mean?
Yeah, Wayne Rooney's Derby County.
Because it is, isn't it? All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Give me a prediction, Foxy.
Genuinely, I think because of the FA Cup result and that they are starting to fly, I think it's a 2-all or 1-all. I hope I'm wrong and it's a win. But we won't get beat. But I just think that the Wayne Rooney effect, it's a big effect. If we can shut him out, put a Savile on him or...
I was going to go for a 1-1. Obviously, I want better than that, but I'll go for a 1-1.
Well, I'll sit on the fence and say but a 3-0.
Good lad.
And on that point... Thank you very much for joining me here at Yaff's Gaff in the snug. Join me next week on Red Army TV. We'll have 2 more fantastic guests. See ya.